Preparing for this mountain meditation, bringing with you a beginner's mind. Finding a comfortable position with your head held as if it is the top of the mountain and your bottom and legs the base of the mountain, rooted to the earth. Going to your breath, connecting to the inhale and the exhale. Grounding yourself in the present moment. Take a moment to feel settled in this space. Picturing your mountain, perhaps the most beautiful mountain you have ever seen. Rock or tree covered, snowy or glistening in the sun, tall or wide. Feel and embody the mountain in yourself. In your mind's eye, you will be the strength of this mountain. How does it feel? Be curious about what comes up for you, whether it is frightening, neutral, or positive. Bringing a beginner's mind and welcoming a sense of exploration, perhaps an awakening to a new experience of learning more about yourself. Working now with the image of this mountain, a structure grounded in nature, just as you are, part of this universe. You, the mountain, existing in an ever-changing environment, continually exposed to changing weathers of your life. Winter. The mountain may be covered by snow, bombarded by strong winds, looked down on by heavy skies. It shelters and nourishes, perhaps sparsely in the season, the life living within it and around it. Storms may come and storms may go. The mountain just sits, unmoved by the environment, simply ever present. Yet slightly, even imperceptibly, eroding as each year passes by the influence of the weather. Sometimes the weather causes more drastic impacts on the mountain, tumbling its snows into an avalanche over the pristine white expanses on its slopes, cascading glacial rocks down its surface, evolving deep crevices formed by the elements. To the observer, the mountain is seen as impervious, never changing, the changes on its surface occurring unnoticed by most, or with acceptance and awe by others who are more discerning or familiar with its symmetry. Spring. It's a wonderment of new beginnings, bringing forth daily changes. The skies change, snow melts on the lower slopes first, until by summer only the peak may have remaining snow. Brooks fill with melting snows, babbling down the sides of the mountains, adding a gentle encouragement to carve out the rocks further, providing new shapes over the years to the mountainside. Grass begins to grow again, flowers bloom, and on the lower slopes trees begin to bud, shoots appearing as their branches reach up to the strengthening sunlight and respond with growth to the lengthening days. Gentle rains fall and replenish the streams. And all over the mountain, wildlife begins its new cycle of courting, mating and nurturing, preparing to bring forth their young. Summer. Every year it's like experiencing it for the first time. The soft and warm summer breezes rustling through the fresh vegetation which now covers the mountain slopes in glorious blankets of color. Many welcoming colors pop out from a mass of greenness. The sun beats down on the flowers. Insects buzz, pollinating and propagating. The grasses begin to bleach as the sun dries the earth. The mountain just sits, unmoved by the changing scenes on its surface, accepting of the cycle of life. And a small modifications happening on its surface, as the earth and sands change with each grass shoot, and flower, bush, and tree, with each trickle of water and a contact with an animal or a bird or an insect. Much like wrinkles on our forehead, which smooth and furrow as the emotions of life come and go. It's completely natural, completely fluid, moving and changing as nature moves, but eventually etched in time. Autumn. Change comes quickly as the days shorten, the temperatures drop, the skies change, and many insects die. Some evenings the skies are still and a beautiful red gold. On others, dark, cloudy, and overcast. Leaves explode with color as if to celebrate the wonders of having lived and flourished through spring and summer, saying their goodbyes, graduating with glorious colored gowns from the earth. Vegetation becomes more sparse, and gentle greens and browns replace the orange and reds. Winter returns. The first snowflakes fall and bring forth a childish glee as they coat the earth in a fluffy white blanket. Initially lightly, and as winter marches on, blanketing the slopes more firmly. Winter strengthens its icy grip on the earth, freezing it solid as the soil is hard and unyielding. The grass is underneath, brown and temporary, seemingly dead. The naked branches of trees on the lower slopes rock and sway in the fierce winds, and animals take whatever refuge they can, mimicking the freeze with stillness and immobility, to conserve their need for sustenance to get through this season until food becomes plentiful again. The mountain sits still. Accepting of the changes, of the needs of nature around it, appearing resilient and unmoving, while under the surface, teeming with nature's movement. self. And in the same way, we can accept the changes in our own lives. The weather of our lives is not to be fought or avoided with frustration and anger. It is to be observed, met with openness, and managed with wisdom and integrity. We can respect the force of the intense weather, learn from it, accept that it will have an impact, but know that it can be somewhat less if we learn how to adapt and set boundaries. We can relish sun when it is radiant, enjoy gentle rains and warm breezes when present, and welcome all the beautiful contrasts of our lives. When the time comes, we can face the more challenging events with an understanding that all is transient. Each aspect of the weather of our lives is to be fully appreciated for the mark it leaves. Returning to the breath. Inhaling fully and exhaling slowly out your mouth. And let's repeat that. Inhaling, expanding, filling the lungs and belly. And one last long exhale out our mouth, fully arriving in this moment. Fully present, renewed, aware, and peaceful.